Okay, we're on. So what I did, I went into my files and I put together Vision 1. I'm going to see if kind of watching my monitor. I have it's in green. And then I got the different highlights in purple. When I find out how to do it, I can show it on the screen, but I don't know how to do it. So what I'm going to do is just read it to you. And I just want to share each vision independently, and bearing in mind that at the timing of these visions, uh, that all the different indicators and indications point that the timeline is just the Nibiru is in the sky making its flyby, or just before making its flyby. Okay, I'm going to read this. Vision 1. In the vision, I had returned to Texas to fellowship with the brethren I had previously become acquainted with. For no apparent reason, God cut my visit short and opened up a door to return back to my own country. And that's what I was talking before in the previous vision. It was imperative to leave immediately, and this is a very, very strong indication in the spirit. I knew we had to leave. I, you know, I couldn't even stay and finish out the uh, the the few hours left in the in that first day of revival. It might have been a Saturday. The revivals start on Friday night, and I believe. Remember, I was there and I was resting. My wife and I were resting, and after the long drive from Canada to Texas, and I believe it was like a Saturday evening, a Sabbath evening, where I couldn't even stay to finish out the meeting. I had to go right away. Anyway, the next morning I remember boarding the ferry in Port Angeles, just outside of Seattle for Victoria, British Columbia. I remember it being very solemn, as if I already knew uh, beforehand what was to take place on this particular mission. It's like I've already uh, seen it. I knew what was coming, and this is yet to happen in spring of 2016, maybe that time. Bob Fletcher, he was on Hagman report, December 5th. He was saying uh, March, maybe the time. So uh, that's almost right on. The passage itself seemed to be in the cool of the year, where a light jacket had to be worn. This is when I got off the ferry. Now, that's what I was wearing when I got on the ferry. There was no indication of snow being on the ground or in the air, but there was ice crystals in the water. In my spirit, it seemed to be 5 o'clock. I just knew that it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have a watch. I don't wear watches. I just knew in the spirit it was 5 a.m. That's an indicator as to the timing of the season. The sun had not come up yet above the horizon. As to what season it was, it could have been early spring or late fall, because you got uh, the same time on either side of the equinox. And I don't remember the flight to. I don't remember going to Dallas. I knew in the spirit that I was taken to Dallas. That was about from Banks to Dallas. I think it's a 3-hour drive or more. The time to get to the airport and all that, you're probably looking at 4 or 5 hours. And to fly from Dallas to Port Angeles, that would have been another 3 or 4 hours, and probably with a couple stopovers. So it seemed like when I got onto the Port Angeles ferry, it was a Sunday morning, and all this seems so long ago. And to me, it was just like right now, it's like a dream when it happened. It was too much. And I'm just praying that God will bring back the spiritual memory of it, and bring me into the spirit where I could relive it again. And I knew that the Lord gave me this for a reason. And if Nibiru is the reason behind the great fear, that means that we need to do something about it. And like I was saying in a couple of videos back, that in 1988, God gave me the divine blueprints for the survival of His people. This was in the summer of 1988. There's one sister there. She asked me whether I could build her a house, and I didn't. And I remember drawing this diagram on the living room wall. They didn't have any paper big enough, so I used the living room wall, and took maybe all summer to write it out. And I didn't get anything from any books. The Lord just gave me it by divine instruction. It's about like a 6-foot drawing. And I got to a certain point, and I knew that God wanted to give it a name. And I knew the first 2 letters. I knew that the first 2 letters were D and A, and that they stood for a diversified approach. Like the Holy Spirit, quickened my mind with this information. Then I asked the Lord, what about the rest? What's the rest of the acronym? And He spoke to my spirit, and He said, take that dictionary over there and look up the rest of the name. And within 10 minutes, the Lord gave me the name for the project, for these blueprints for the end time, for building these blessed areas or places of refuge. So the name He gave me was David, Project David, and it stands for a diversified approach, visualizing isometric dwelling. And the plans that He gave me was like a macro overview of 3,456 acres in the shape of a star, using the same pattern, using the same layout as things are in heaven. And like in heaven, the wisest, those that are in greater light and understanding, they're always in the center. In heaven, you always have a center point. Then you build out from that. And in the drawings that He gave me, the initial drawings, you could actually plot out all these, thousands of acres, and the center would be the main camp, and around it you would have 12 independent communities, but they're all working together. Remember, man of God, remember David Terrell, like the Lord showed him these blessed places, blessed areas in the 60s. And he saw areas in the United States that were 30 by 70 miles. So we're talking about large chunks of land that God's hand of supernatural, divine protection is going to be over them. Nothing can touch it. And I believe these visions are for a purpose, knowing that the Lord has taken me to the time just before Nibiru, before the earth changes. That's the only thing, the only piece of the puzzle that fits. I've never seen fear like this. It was paralyzing fear. And the plans that he gave me are meant uh, for the evacuation of the West Coast. So the government's not going to make this announcement. But the Lord has put it in my heart, even at this time, that we need, that you living on the West Coast, that God has His plan to relocate you out of the danger zone. And in the vision, when the angel of the Lord appeared to me, he asked me, where can my people go? Now, Gabriel was this far away on my right-hand side, and he asked me, where can my people go? And I remember my arms swung out, and I pointed up to the northern part of BC in the Hazelton area. And in the spirit, I could see this is where this convoy, just before the destruction hit Vancouver, I saw a convoy that stretched all the way from the east side of Surrey all the way to Chilliwack. That's about 50 miles, a 50-mile convoy. And I saw each and every vehicle. I saw it was like the Beverly Hillbillies. And in the center, the Lord zoomed me in, and I saw 5 miles of transport trucks, and they were fully outfitted with in-time survival, with shelters and everything. I didn't see what was under the tarps, but I knew that they had everything prepared in advance to relocate and ride out the earth changes. And that's what I'm working on now. I'm working on the final pieces of the puzzle. And I believe that's what was under the tarps. So God does have a plan to preserve the people. The time is coming up. The government's going to abandon the people. Now, they used our tax money to build their underground shelters, and they don't care about those that got caught up in all this destruction. And God's got a word for them, that they're the ones that's going to get the short end of the stick. When this Elijah Moses company stands to their feet, I wouldn't want to get in their way. And those who try to save their lives, like the elect, to go into the ground, their underground bases, God's going to come hunting for you, and you won't be able to escape His wrath when it comes. There'll be nowhere to run. God's bringing a people that their word is going to be it. When they speak a word, they put a word on you, that's it. You will not be able to run from it. There's going to be people like Elijah. They're going to speak, and fire is going to come down, and you're going to be nothing but dust. I've seen it. I had visions like this. And anyway, the vision is just the visions are just an indicator of the time frame. Like I was saying, the Lord gave me many indicators. I didn't know the year, but I know it's quickly approaching, and that we still have time to prepare. And like I was saying before, the Lord has instructed me to write a book. He gave me the title several months ago, and to have this book done by spring. It will be an ebook available for everyone, and it's called Cities of Light, Places of Refuge. And there's still time to, if we all come together in the same package, then we can actually prepare what needs to be done and be ready when the time changes. But you on the West Coast, God's knocking on your door, and you're going to have to uproot and relocate in order to live, because if you stay on the West Coast, you're dead. God does have a plan to relocate, and I believe those I saw in the visions, these 10,000 vehicles, that I know they weren't all from Canada. And I believe that these were those that came up from the entire West Coast of both America and British Columbia, all the way along California and Oregon and all that. And Okay, I'm going to come back and vision 2. I just have to print it out. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in Edmonton, Alberta.